close your eyes for a moment and breathe, not because I want to hypnotize you, but because the mind that is always running cannot hear what is eternal. You have been taught to look at life as a collection of separate things. This is a tree, that is a man, this is sacred, that is ordinary. But this division is the greatest illusion ever imposed on humanity. God is not hiding in temples, scriptures, or special moments. God is overflowing in everything you see, touch, reject, and even ignore. The problem is not God's absence. The problem is your untrained mind. A noisy mind looks but never sees, listens but never hears, lives but never meets existence. When the mind is trained, even a stone on the road becomes a scripture, even silence starts speaking, even your breath becomes a prayer. This talk is not about believing in God, it is about seeing. When your mind learns to see clearly, you will not ask where God is, because you will discover that there has never been a place where God was not. From the very beginning, understand one thing deeply: love is not a marketplace where you stretch out your hands and ask for alms. The moment love becomes begging, it has already turned into humiliation. And humiliation poisons the soul. When a man or a woman reaches old age and starts begging for love, it is not really love they are asking for, it is fear speaking through them. Fear of emptiness, fear of being left alone with themselves, fear of silence. But silence is not your enemy. Silence is your original home. You were not born with another person. You were born alone, and you will leave alone. If you have not learned how to be alone with joy, you will ask others to fill a space that no one can fill. Love cannot be demanded. It can only be shared, and only those who are already full can share. An empty bowl knocking on other doors will remain empty because emptiness has no fragrance, and love is attracted only to fragrance. Old age is not the problem. Old age is a mirror. It simply reflects how you have lived your whole life. If your youth was wasted in chasing, clinging, possessing, then your old age will be full of trembling hands, asking someone, anyone, to stay. If your youth was lived in awareness, celebration, creativity, then your old age will have a dignity that needs nothing. A tree does not beg birds to sit on its branches. When it is full of flowers, the birds come on their own. And when the season changes and the birds leave, the tree does not cry. It remains rooted, silent, grounded. Learn from existence. Everything in nature stands alone yet is deeply connected. Only the human mind has learned the ugly art of dependence and calls it love. People think love means not being alone. That is a great misunderstanding. Love means being so complete in your aloneness that you can allow another person to be free beside you. Two freedoms meeting is love. Two dependencies clinging is misery. In old age, the misery becomes visible because the body is tired, the roles are gone, the masks are falling. You cannot impress anymore, you cannot compete anymore, you cannot pretend forever, and suddenly you want love as a medicine, as a support, as a crutch. But love is not a crutch. Love is a dance. If you cannot stand on your own, you cannot dance. And remember, no one is attracted to neediness. Neediness smells of fear. Love moves toward joy, toward silence, toward depth. Society has taught you a dangerous idea, that to be alone is to be a failure. This is a lie repeated so many times that it has become a belief. Children are trained to be attached, adults are trained to be dependent, and old people are trained to be desperate. From the very beginning, you were never taught how to sit silently with yourself, how to enjoy your own presence, how to listen to your own breath. So when old age comes, and people go away, and relationships fall apart, you feel cheated by life. Life has not cheated you. You have avoided life. You have avoided meeting yourself. Now the bill has arrived. If you are begging for love in old age, it means you never loved rightly when you were young. You were bargaining, negotiating, compromising, adjusting. You were always afraid of losing the other. You never knew that real love begins only when fear disappears. Fear says, I need you. Love says, I overflow, take if you wish. Fear wants guarantees. Love knows no guarantees. Fear wants security. Love wants truth. Old age strips you of illusions and shows you the naked reality of your inner world. Instead of begging, sit silently. Instead of asking someone to love you, ask yourself whether you have loved your own being. Instead of running after people, turn inward. You will be surprised. The same energy that was begging outside becomes light inside. And when you are light, people may still come, but now it will not matter. Whether they come or go, your center will remain untouched. That is real freedom. That is real love. When you no longer need love, you become love. Old age does not create anything new. It only uncovers what has always been there. It is like the tide going out and revealing what was hidden under the water. When youth is present, energy hides many truths. The body is strong, desire is loud, ambition gives you excuses to run. You can pretend love, you can borrow joy, you can decorate your emptiness with activity. But when old age arrives, energy becomes quiet, the body slows down, and suddenly there is no place left to escape. Whatever you planted in your inner world now starts showing its roots. If you lived unconsciously, your old age will feel like punishment. If you lived with awareness, your old age will feel like a deep rest. People are afraid of old age because they are afraid of truth. They know somewhere deep inside that they have not lived authentically. They have lived according to others' expectations, others' ideas, others' definitions of success and love. They followed the crowd, they copied lives, they obeyed traditions, and they postponed themselves. Old age does not forgive postponement. It asks only one question: did you live or did you survive? And this question burns, because there is no time left to edit the answer. Look carefully and you will see that those who are miserable in old age were never really alive in youth. They were busy building prisons and calling them homes. They were collecting relationships instead of understanding love. They were accumulating memories instead of experiencing presence. Now the memories are fading, the relationships are tired, and presence has never been learned. So old age feels empty. But the emptiness is not new. It was always there, just covered with noise. Old age is not a curse, it is a clarity. It takes away your lies one by one. You can no longer seduce, no longer compete, no longer prove. You can only be. And if you have never practiced being, this simplicity feels unbearable. You start blaming time, fate, God, children, partners, society. But the truth is simple and ruthless. You did not look inward when you had the chance. You were always outward, always chasing, always hoping that tomorrow would give what today did not. Old age arrives and says, tomorrow is no longer a promise. Those who have meditated even a little, those who have tasted silence even for moments, experience old age differently. Their bodies may weaken, but their awareness becomes sharper. Their eyes lose brightness, but their presence gains depth. They do not feel robbed by life. They feel completed. They do not beg for attention. They radiate contentment. Their old age has a grace, a fragrance, a quiet authority that comes only from having lived consciously. Understand this deeply. How you live now is how you will age. Old age is simply the echo of your whole life. If you are angry now, you will be bitter then. If you are greedy now, you will be fearful then. If you are loving now, you will be peaceful then. Time does not change people, it reveals them. Masks fall, excuses disappear, and the essential remains. Society teaches you to be afraid of aging. But society never teaches you how to live. It sells you youth creams but not awareness. It praises productivity but ignores presence. It teaches you how to earn a living but not how to live with yourself. So when old age comes, you feel unprepared, like a stranger in your own life. But existence is not unfair. It gives warnings every day. Each moment of unconsciousness is a seed. Each moment of awareness is also a seed. Old age is the harvest Do not wait for old age to discover who you are. If you start seeing now, aging will become a blessing, not a burden. If you start listening now, silence will become a friend, not an enemy. Old age only hurts those who have escaped themselves. To those who have faced themselves, old age becomes a homecoming, a deep exhale after a long journey, a sunset that is not sad but fulfilled. Loneliness is not something that happens to you because others leave. Loneliness happens because you have never arrived within yourself. People confuse aloneness with loneliness, and this confusion creates immense suffering, especially as age advances. Aloneness is a natural state, pure, spacious, silent. Loneliness is a psychological wound created by dependence. When you depend on others to give you meaning, warmth, identity, their absence will feel like death. But when you're rooted in your own being, even solitude becomes a celebration. Old age does not make people lonely, it only removes distractions. The phones become silent, visitors become fewer, roles disappear, and suddenly you are face to face with yourself. If you have never befriended yourself, this meeting feels unbearable. From childhood, you were trained to escape yourself. Noise was praised, silence was feared. Being busy was called success, being still was called laziness. Slowly, unknowingly, you learn to avoid your own presence. You learn to use relationships as escapes, not to share love, but to avoid emptiness, not to meet another soul, but to forget your own. So when relationships weaken with time, when bodies age and desires cool down, the old habit of escape has nowhere to go. Then loneliness arises like a shadow you cannot outrun. People try to cure loneliness with people, just as they try to cure darkness with smoke. It never works. Another person can distract you, but distraction is not fulfillment. The moment the other leaves, the wound opens again, deeper than before. This is why begging for love in old age feels so painful. It is not really about love. It is about using another person as medicine for an inner disease. But loneliness is not a disease. It is a message. It is existence telling you that you have ignored yourself for too long. If you look deeply, you will see that even when people were around you, you were still lonely. You were together yet separate. You were talking yet not meeting. You were touching yet not connected. Loneliness was always there, just covered with activity and noise. Old age only removes the cover. And this is not cruel. This is compassionate. Existence is giving you one last chance to turn inward. The fear of loneliness makes people compromise their dignity. They tolerate disrespect. They accept coldness. They settle for half-hearted connections. In old age, this fear becomes more visible because society itself withdraws. The world worships youth and usefulness. When you are no longer productive, you are slowly pushed to the margins. If your worth was borrowed from society, you will feel rejected. But if your worth comes from awareness, no rejection can touch you. Loneliness disappears the moment you stop resisting aloneness. Sit with yourself without judgment. Do not try to fix anything. Do not try to become spiritual. Just be present. Feel your breath. Feel your body. Watch your thoughts come and go. Slowly, a miracle happens. The same space that felt empty starts feeling vast. The same silence that felt heavy starts feeling peaceful. You realize you were never lonely. You were simply unfamiliar with yourself. Those who learn this art never beg for love at any age. They may enjoy companionship, but they do not need it. They can walk alone without bitterness. They can sit in silence without fear. And when love happens, it is no longer out of desperation, but out of abundance. Love becomes a sharing, not a strategy. Old age then becomes a time of depth, not despair. A time of ripening, not rotting. A time when being alone is not a punishment, but a privilege. Love is not something you lean on. Love is something you grow into. Dependency has been mistakenly named love. For centuries, and because of this misunderstanding, People suffer most when their strength is gone. Dependency says, I cannot exist without you. Love says, I exist so fully that I can allow you to exist as you are. Dependency is rooted in fear. Love is rooted in freedom. And freedom is frightening to the dependent mind. It wants chains, promises, assurances, but love has no chains. Love is wild, like a river flowing without asking permission. When you depend on another person for happiness, you are giving them power over your inner climate. If they smile, you feel alive. If they turn away, you feel dead. This is not love, this is slavery, with beautiful words. In old age, this slavery becomes visible because the other person may be tired, distant, or gone. Then the dependent one feels abandoned by life itself. But life has not abandoned you. You abandoned yourself long ago by handing your inner authority to someone else. Love that flowers naturally comes from inner richness. Just as a tree does not borrow flowers from another tree, a conscious person does not borrow love. The flowers come because the roots are deep. Your roots are in awareness, not in people. If you water awareness, love blossoms on its own. And remember, flowering is effortless. Struggle belongs to dependency, not to love. Wherever there is struggle, there is fear. Wherever there is fear, love cannot stay for long. Old age exposes whether love in your life was real or borrowed. Borrowed love disappears when circumstances change. Real love does not disappear, it transforms. Even when the beloved is no longer there, the quality of love remains within you. You become more gentle, more compassionate, more silent. This is why sages can sit alone and yet feel full. Their love is no longer addressed to someone, it has become their very way of being. People think love needs an object. This is another misunderstanding. In the beginning, love may need an object, just as a child needs a toy to learn how to play. But if you grow, love becomes objectless. You love without reason, without demand, without direction. You love because love is your nature. Then old age is not frightening. Even death is not frightening, because nothing essential depends on anyone else anymore. When love is dependency, it decays with the body. When love is awareness, it deepens with age. The dependent lover becomes anxious, jealous, possessive, especially when time is running out. The aware lover becomes relaxed, grateful, prayerful. One is counting what is being lost. The other is celebrating what has been lived. And this difference is not created by age. It is created by consciousness. If you understand this, you will stop begging. Begging is violence against your own soul. You will stop asking someone to fill your emptiness and start exploring the vastness within. From that vastness, love may happen or may not happen, but it will no longer define you. You will be complete whether alone or together, silent or speaking, young or old, desired or forgotten. Love then is no longer something you chase. It is something that happens around you like a fragrance, natural, effortless, inevitable.